Good morning, folks. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me? Good morning. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, Key. Good morning, Ronnie. Thank you, Ash, for the gift sub to Lumi. Goodness. You've given... Whew. It's a large number, but welcome back to Bun Hell. Thank you so much. Thank you for the bun time as well. In the air, hello, hello. Yahoo to you too. We are back playing none other than Katawa Shoujo. I should probably mix it up and do some other things, but oh, thank you so much for the resub, Ash. Welcome back for 16 months to Bun Hell. Goodness. What a long time. What a long time it's been. Golly. But gosh, yes. Hold on. Puts my mouse away. Oh. Every time I think that I should come on stream to do things, I do consider the fact that I haven't been playing other games, and this goes for even off stream. I don't play other games off stream either. But Newt, hello, hello, good morning. I think that while we're on a roll, I kind of wanna plow through the Hanako route, because since I'm doing all of my Katawa Shoujo plays on stream rather than doing them off. Kind of wanna get into the meat and potatoes of the Hanako route already. So that's why every time I come on stream, I think I should continue. Should struggle along and read as much as I can. Crawls along. Anyway. Back onto it. Let's read some more Katawa Shoujo and get to know our lovely bookworm Hanako a little bit more, shall we? Bun, be real with me? Did someone else give Srielance a sub? I don't know. It's possible. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly to whom and when subs were gifted. I think that you are notorious for gifting the most, but that aside, I don't know. Someone might have done. I feel like it might not have been you that the last time Stream Elements was gifted a sub. It's very appreciated though. Thank you for fulfilling the bun times. Alrighty. So what's happened last time since we got to know Hanako? So basically we've just been hanging out and going to the library with her and Lily, and been going shopping. Streamlabs is cheating on me. And I think that Hanako has started to talk a little bit about her past. She said that when she was younger she was in a fire, and of course she would have spent a lot of time in hospital. And this was after she found out a little bit more about our protagonist Hisao's own condition. And she was like, oh, it's not fair that I know about you but you don't know about me. But I think he kind of like was like, don't worry too much about it. You can stop there, which I think is a good take. Anyway, let's get on. The summertime sun is something to be savoured, but when combined with the clean country air, it's all the better. I think he's out for a run today. I don't know if he's been out for a run this route yet. So far, actually, he saw. The track and field club members are horsing around on the field ahead. Some are playing with a soccer ball, others are talking, and a few laugh as two of them mock fight with each other. None of them pay me any heed as I sit alone on the grass underneath the shade of a particularly large tree. It's a nice and peaceful moment after a dreary day of schoolwork. I like that he doesn't push to get info even if he could. I think that Hisa is breaking into the level of consideration for others. Like if there's anything that we know about this guy, it's that he's come into the school like exceedingly jaded. He doesn't like to talk about his own circumstances. He's really awkward in thinking about anyone else's circumstances. It's very... It's good that he's treading carefully. I think that he's still finding where exactly that line is. Where exactly the good line sits. I played soccer pretty often before my heart attack, so I thought it would be really nostalgic to watch them. What I'm feeling now is quite distinct from that emotion. I hear footsteps approaching from behind me, and I turn to my side to see one of my classmates taking a seat beside me. I'm taken off guard as the two of us haven't talked much before, and I didn't think anyone would notice me here. Someone new? A new face? What's up?
Hi, Miura, wasn't it?
Just call me Miki. Surnames are too stuffy.
Likewise, then.
We both look back out to the field where the guys are playing. It looks like they're getting ready to have a second game, with people spreading out to their positions and the ball being carried to the center of the field. Sure enough, the whistle is blown to begin the match and they get right back into it.
Not going to play?
Nah, just gonna rest for a bit. What about you? You kind of look like you wanted to play when you were watching us before. So someone did notice me after all.
It's kind of a long story.
Her face says that I've piqued her interest.
I'm in Yamaku because I've got a heart condition. I can't really play soccer anymore.
Wanted to be a soccer player, did you?
No, I only really did it for fun. My friends played it, so I played it as well.
I think this is always a good way to get into things.
Any one of those guys playing around could have been me before my accident. But I don't feel like I have any real wish to go back to that either. It's a little hard to explain.
I'm still decently physically built from the days when I played, even if my strength's largely left me now, and I got on well with the other club members. When I think about it, I should feel pretty bad watching people play when I can't anymore. Yet I don't. Maybe it's a good thing? A sign that I've gotten over it and that I'm ready to become a new person.
Sorry, I'm kind of rambling.
It's cool. I'm actually glad to hear that. It sounds like you really have your stuff together. Some of the people that come to Yamaku are pretty messed up at first.
So you're a member of the track and field club then?
Yep, been in it since I first arrived.
Don't suppose you're friends with Emmy, a short, fast runner, no legs? I don't think there are all that many female track and field members.
Emmy. Everyone knows about her, don't they? But no, I tend to get on better with guys, so me and Emmy don't really talk much. Anyway, what about you?
Well, I'm not really in any clubs. Real clubs, anyway.
You've been hanging around with Hanako and that blonde Amazon, though, right?
Blonde Amazon.
I suppose Lily has the height to fit that description, if nothing else. I nod in response without making too fine a point of things. Ash, why are you asking? Is it because you want to play with me? Or is it because you're curious? No, answer me. Well, I haven't, I don't play on Panic. Look, I saw you ask this before, and I think, well, I don't play. I haven't logged into Tower Fantasy in a while, probably since the last time I streamed the game, but I play on Pluto, on the Asian server. And I feel like I would drop the game at this rate. Well, I haven't played either at any... well, I haven't really played. I mostly play games to play with friends. I think that it's fine to ask. I think that if you want to ask something like that, you could always tail it with, "Bun, what server are you on in Tower of Fantasy? I'd like to play with you." Right? Which do you think is more awkward? If I didn't want to play with you, what do you think I would say? Like, what are you trying to ask, right? Gives you a look. Gives you a look. It's okay to be forward. It's okay to be forward about that. I feel like it would be neat to play. I think that you should probably find that out for yourself, whether or not you want to play. However, I don't expect anything. Well, that wasn't necessary to say either. I'm gonna keep reading. Then don't worry about it. As long as you've got some friends, you don't need to join a club. A loud whistling from the field attracts our attention. One of the players is on the ground clutching his leg, and the others stop play to jog up to him, leaving Mickey grimacing. Ouch, that looks painful. That guy really has bad luck. As she continues to look out onto the field, I can't help being reminded of her own injuries. Her left arm, ending in a stump rather than a hand, has been bandaged up for the entire time I've been in Yamaku, and her injury doesn't seem that new. She turns to talk to me again and catches me looking. Both of us sit in awkward silence as she takes her bandaged arm and holds it in her lap with the other remaining hand. Sorry, I guess I'm still a bit... It's fine, really. Her tone is light, but neither of us says anything afterwards. Every disabled student here has their own way of dealing with their problems, and some finding their conditions troublesome is only natural. I am included among them, after all. The injured guy from the soccer game manages to get onto his feet with some help and ends up hobbling off the field with one arm over the shoulder of another for support. Probably just pulled a muscle if he can still manage to walk. The whistle blows again, and the game continues once more with one less man on the field. Hanging out with Hanako and that blonde girl keeps some pretty strange company. How so? It's just that Hanako's kind of... I don't know... shy? No, it's not really that. It's just... she's got some issues, I think. I can't really put it in a nice way. Not that I don't think she's a nice person, though. She's perfectly nice. Would you like to play together sometime? I don't know. I think that you should probably find out whether you like that game first. Just... hard to deal with. It sounds like Mickey, or at least some other people in the class, have tried to get closer to Hanako in the past, and that it didn't go well. I think her judgment is rather harsh, given that everyone, not just those in Yamaku, have their own issues. Then again, I haven't known Hanako for that long, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was some stuff I didn't know about. I'll just take it as it comes. She's a nice person, and I think that should be all that matters. Mickey's eyes narrow a little, and her smile spreads. You really like her, don't you? Mickey certainly doesn't mince words. Oh, I have to make a choice! have to make a choice. Okay, you caught me. I'm on this route because I want to romance Hanako. Gosh darn.
To be completely honest, yeah, I do. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell anyone.
Hey, well, you can trust me. No problems there. To be honest, I think it's kind of cute. If you want to go for it, don't let me stop you. I see. This is directed at Ash. I see. Shouts on the roof, you sound like Hanako. I feel like that would kind of be a Mickey move, but it's okay. Let's just make a new friend.
Thanks.
She may say that, but she was just talking about Hanako having issues. Still, I want to hold myself to the words I said. Hanako's problems don't matter. I'll deal with anything that comes up because I want to help her. If there's even the smallest possibility that I can pull Hanako out of her depression and seclusion, then I should work towards that, no matter what. If she needs a prince, then I'll be that prince. As I think about the possibility of a relationship, I can see Mickey grinning at me while watching my face. I'm no doubt blushing, and looking away from her only makes her laugh. Mickey gives off a different vibe than from the other girls. Talking to her feels more like talking to a guy than a woman. Her saying she prefers male company doesn't help to dispel that notion either. Glancing at my watch shows that lunch break is ending in only a few minutes. Time to start heading back to class. Ash, kukiyome means read the air. I think that if you want to have this conversation, you could have picked a better time and a place.
Lunch is about to end. Want to head back?
Yeah, I'd better. I pick myself up off the grass and dust myself off, offering a hand to Mickey to help her up as well. She takes it and easily pulls herself up, showing the muscles moving and her toned, bare arms in the process.
Come to think of it, why aren't you wearing the normal girl's blouse?
It's too hot and constricting. The boys' uniform is better anyway. She throws her arms around a bit to emphasize her point, which has the side effect of showing off one particular part of her body that would be especially constricted by the blouse. The two of us start the walk back to the main building through the gardens, talking as we go. It sounds like you're settling in well. That's a relief. It was pretty surprising to get a transfer student at this point in the year, considering the exams are coming up. Kisao gives him a look, gives him a side glance.
Don't remind me.
Don't worry about them. Just cram it and you'll be fine.
That doesn't sound like good advice.
She claps my shoulder a couple of times as she grins. I don't think she takes school very seriously. You seem like a smart guy, and Midell's taken to you well already. Like a hand in a glove.
Not to work out whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I still don't know what to make of this school. I've been here a few weeks already, but I still feel dazed at times.
You'll get used to it. Just give it some time. It's only a high school, just like any other. She makes it sound so simple, but I've never thought about it that way. To me, Yamaku symbolized a marked shift in my life. I was no longer normal, I was different, and I was to be educated with other different people. And yet I'm walking back to class and talking casually with a classmate during lunch, after watching some others play a soccer game. All perfectly normal. Maybe she has a point. Maybe I should just look at Hanako in the same way. Everyone has their own issues. This is hardly something unique to Yamaku. After all, it's only a high school, just like any other. As we continue to talk, I find myself smiling. Mickey and I are very different people in almost every way, but it feels good to have gotten to know another classmate a bit better. Is Mickey romanceable? No, she's not. Unfortunately, you don't get to know Mickey a bit better. I'm sure if you guys had your way, it would be romancing every single side character that popped up. A light breeze blows the scent of early summer around my head while I wait for Lily. Small white clouds litter the sky, breaking up the monotony of the blue. Hisa, are you here? Lily's voice lilts on the breeze as if they are one and the same thing. Oh, are we going shopping with Lily today? I stop gazing into the sky to examine Lily. With a peach off-the-shoulder sweater and a tan ankle-length skirt, in addition to tan sandals, she's quite a nice sight.
Yeah, I'm over here, Lily, near the gate. Were you able to sneak away from Hanako?
Yes, it's not uncommon for me to go out during weekends, so I don't think she noticed anything suspicious. That, and she has someone she sees. Lily purses her lips as if she maybe shouldn't have continued. I find it a little hard to believe.
Hanako's seeing someone? Really?
No, it's just she sees a therapist every so often on weekends.
Oh, well, that does make a lot of sense.
Lily rubs her arm uncomfortably, and after one look at her troubled expression, I quickly move to change the topic away from Hanako. Yes, we are gift shopping for Hanako today. Yes?
I was just wondering, you can get around the city on your own?
Lily sighs at my consternation surrounding the topic of her blindness. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. I can, yes. It's easier when I'm out with a friend or my sister, though. I wonder how Lily gets along with her sister. Being an only child, it's hard to imagine what having a sibling would be like, so it makes me a little envious of her.
Right. Well then, the bus arrives in a few minutes, so we should probably get a move on.
Indeed. It's a long wait if we miss this one. With that, we set off for the bus stop on the hill. It's only a small distance from the school gate, so it's very convenient.
It's a nice view from here. Coming from the city, I never really got to see scenery like this, let alone on a daily basis.
This area is nice for me as well. It's tranquil and away from the noises and smells of the city. Lily's head perks up in a trademark gesture of hers, signifying that she's caught a sound. Oh, here comes the bus. I look down the road to see the bus trundling up the hill. The hearing's quite a useful tool. The bus only takes a short while to reach the bus stop, forcing its way up the road, and within a minute we are on our way to the city. Walking around the city, I feel a distinct nostalgia. The smells, the traffic, the tall buildings everywhere. It's a lot like my native city, save for the raised walkways. It feels a little weird, walking around a city as casually as I would in a park, but with cars rushing around underneath me. I wonder if all her senses are improved. Well, yes, I would say so. Heightened hearing, sense of touch. As I'm busily pondering the engineering marvel that is the raised walkway, I get a surprise. It takes a moment for me to realize that Lily has wrapped her arm around mine, extending her cane in front of her with her other hand. For a moment I'm startled, but I manage to keep enough of a little net for Lily not to notice. While it's not the first time that Lily's relied on me for guidance, she'd only held onto my sleeves cuff before. It's logical that it would be easier for her to navigate a crowded and complex area such as the city while securely linked, but I'm far from being as used to this kind of contact as Lily is. Finally realizing the growing silence between us as Lily waits for me to get moving, I quickly kick my brain into gear. Sorry, my brain is also not quite into gear.
You know, it was quite a surprise that Hanako likes to sing. Have you ever heard her do that before?
have indeed. We've been to karaoke sessions several times, along with my sister. I can't say I take to the activity much, but the other two like it. Maybe Hanako doing karaoke is more fitting than I initially thought. Just her and those she knows, all alone in a little room. It would give her a rare chance to let her guard down with nobody else there to judge her.
Maybe it would be nice to bring her into town for a karaoke birthday party if she likes doing it.
I'm not sure she would deal very well with the excitement. I move to protest, but her face shows that she's mulling the proposal over some more. It takes quite some time for her to come to a conclusion. Then again, the best thing we can do for Hanako at this point is to try to create some pleasant birthday memories. Continually treating her as if she's abnormal won't help.
I think you're right. If she has something to remember apart from loss, then maybe she'll come around.
If we bought her something nice that she could see every day, then maybe she'd be able to take her mind off her past and remember that she has friends. This is a nice sentiment. I think that in buying gifts, gift buying is always kind of a tenuous thing to do. And in any case, I think Hanako can handle something like this. In the time I've spent beside her, I've learned that she isn't quite as frightfully fragile as I first thought she was.
So, shall we be off? I'm not really sure about the layout of this area.
Very well. I might like to suggest having something to eat first.
I haven't either, so that sounds like a good plan.
Make sure you choose a nice place, Hisao. She gives a teasing smile, one that makes me smile reflexively in response, even if she can't see that.
I'll make very sure I do. Don't worry about that.
Once inside, I order 2 slices of pie and accompanying cups of tea and take them back to our table. I'd picked this cafe as the type to appeal to Lily, small and quiet, but well kept and somewhat upscale. Going by the dainty smile she wears, I don't really know if I chose right. It's very, very rare to not see her smiling after all. Nevertheless, I take a seat near her at one of the corner tables and lay down our small meal. Lily gingerly brings her head over the slice of pie placed in front of her, delicately taking in the aroma. Lemon pie, is it? Thank you, Hisao.
No problem. The tea's just next to it, so be careful not to knock it over.
She nods appreciatively, but judging from the slightly weak smile she has, the warning wasn't really necessary. I suppose the sound must have tipped her off to its position. We both tuck into our food without further ado, both of us remaining largely silent as we do so. Lily isn't the type to appreciate discussion while eating, and I can't say I like it either. Eventually, we finish both our meals, and the last of our teacups follows in short order. Lily's the first to break the silence. That was very nice. I must say you've chosen quite well, Hisao. Hello, Lan. It is more Katawa Shoujo time. Greetings. Also, thank you for the apple.
This is the first time I've really had much of a look around the city, so all I could really do is choose somewhere that looked nice. Damn. Sorry.
Oh, icy ice. Greetings. Welcome, welcome. I feel really bad for inadvertently bringing up the subject of sight around Lily, but she doesn't appear to mind much. Quite the opposite. She always looks amused by my awkward attempt at an apology. You are thoughtful, Hisao, but sometimes I fear that it gets the better of you. There's no need to change your speech on my account. Lily truly is pretty comfortable in dealing with her condition. I still hasten to change the subject, as I can't really say that I share her confidence in the matter.
Have you lived here for very long? It seems like you have this place pretty much sorted out.
She quickly waves her hand in front of her face to dismiss the notion. It's nothing like that. I've attended Yamaku since the start of high school, but I didn't walk around the city very much because Akira, my sister, picked me up and dropped me off.
Oh, right. You mentioned not living in the dormitories until recently.
It's quite a surprise. I just assumed she'd been living here since entering Yamaku at the least, which would give her a few years here. I've lived with my family for most of my life. Then I was just together with my sister. With my family having moved to Inverness long before, and Akira working longer hours, I ended up having to move.
Inverness? Isn't that somewhere in Scotland?
Oh, did I not tell you? My family currently lives in Scotland, the birthplace of my mother. My father's side is mainly Japanese, though. The question of what gave Lily her looks did cross my mind every now and then, but I'd never thought to ask. That answers that, then.
To be honest, I'd never have guessed. Considering you have no accent, I'm guessing you were born here?
Full marks. I am thankful for my heritage, though, as without it, I'd likely not have been taught English so early in my life. And what of you, Hisa?
What about me?
She gives a moment's thought. She probably should have thought of what to ask New Bob before switching the topic. I'll go with... What are your plans for the future?
To be honest, I haven't thought about that much recently. After my accident and subsequent months in hospital, enjoying my life here with you and Hanako has been enough for me.
In fact, I don't think I've thought at all about a future for some time now. It seems almost futile. This is your last year of school. After this, you will have to fend for yourself one way or the other.
It's not like I don't know that, I just haven't put much thought into it since then.
She opens her mouth to continue, but gives a small sigh instead. She seems to have realized that she really doesn't know enough about my situation to go too deeply into this. Well, we all have our own pace. I just hope you'll take any chance you see.
I understand. I'll think about it.
As we walk back out into the city, Lily takes hold of my arm once again. So, did you get any good ideas for a present?
To be honest, no. I've never been very good at picking them.
Kenzie, hello, welcome. As absurd as it sounds, perhaps we should just look around? Hearing Lily utter those words throws me for a moment.
Right. How do we do that?
That's just the reaction I was expecting. It's simple. You can go window shopping and just tell me what is around. If something interesting comes up, then we might get an idea. He'll take any romantic chance he sees. I'll trust that much. Is the blonde girl blind? Yes, that's right. She is.
I'm still not so sure of this, but I'll take your word for it.
I think we'll manage. Hanako, my sister and I managed to do it well enough. With Lily's simplistic and rather optimistic statement, we set off into the shopping district of the city and I start describing everything I see to Lily. It's hard to see... Oh, are it? Cat raid. Goodness. Hold on. Oh, coffee. Hello, Raiders. Thank you so much for popping by. I am Bun. Hello, Coffee. I hope you had a good stream. We're just playing some Katawa Shoujo. I'm here romancing another girl. Romancing another cute girl. Holds her close. Holds her close to my chest. Most delightful. Hello, Art by default. It's nice to meet you too. Hello. Coffee. I'm struggling. I feel like Hanako's really hard to romance, even though I know how to romance her. I'm in for the ride. It gets all the girls in my dreams. It's so at the moment we're trying to buy Hanako and her best friend Lily. We're trying to buy a birthday present for her, but neither of them knows what to get. Knows what to buy. So we're just wandering about and nods. Who is the best girl in this game? It depends on who you ask, but I think a lot of people will say that Hanako's best girl. But Hanako is a great girl. She's not my favorite, but I like her a lot. It's hard to think of Hanako going window shopping. She doesn't feel like the type to place much stock in fashion, nor have I noticed her reading magazines or the like. In fact, all I think I've really seen her do as a hobby is read books.
There's a housewares shop just ahead. Looks like it's mostly crockery though.
I can't think that she'd have much of a need for that. And what type of message would that send to her?
Cook more food? That's not such a bad idea, maybe.
Would you call this a blind date? Not quite, but also, yes, absolutely. Sometimes it's best to leave these things alone, Hisao. Once again, I get the feeling that Hanako's exploits in the kitchen aren't always successful. Lily must have had to help her with that sometimes.
Let's see. Next along is a bookshop. It seems like a good one. She's always reading.
Yes, but there are a few problems with books. I'm not quite sure what she has and hasn't read.
What about a gift card then?
There's nothing as impersonal as giving someone a gift card. It's like saying, I don't know enough about you to work out what you'd like.
I always thought of it as making sure they got what they wanted.
Okay, this argument could also never end. What do you guys think of the gift card argument? Like, is it considerate or is it impersonal? Giving people gifts is supposed to show them the level of affection you have for them. If you can't decide on a simple gift for them, then how much could you think of them?
Right. No gift cards.
Lily seems overly passionate about this, but I can see her point. If you're going to get something for someone, then you should at least put some thought into it.
If I want to get something for Hanako that reminds her of us every day, then what good is a gift card? In that case... what did you get Hanako last year?
A porcelain doll. I thought that if she had someone to talk to, it might help her ease her pain. A doll isn't ever going to criticize her after all.
So should I be looking for a doll shop?
If you could be so kind to keep a lookout for one, I would be grateful.
Sounds good to me. I wish you'd mentioned it earlier.
But if I did that, then you wouldn't have started thinking for yourself, would you? Once again, Lily has a point. My brain is currently analyzing every store we pass for gift options. If Lily had mentioned a doll shop to begin with, I wouldn't have thought of anything else. Depends on how general the gift card is. General card is sloppy though. Just give me money and don't limit me to a certain store with a gift card. It's really tough. I feel like I easily can slot into either viewpoint of this argument. Like if you ask me to argue on Hisao's part, then I could. But if you ask me to argue for Lily's point, then I easily could as well. It's a tough sort of situation when it comes to buying gifts for people. I don't have a lot of stuff. Actually, that's not true. I don't buy a lot of things. I don't buy a lot of things, but I treasure the gifts that I receive from people a lot. I think that this is the Lily argument in that when someone's bought or made or gifted me something thinking of me, I receive with their gift, be it like physical, if they gave me like an object, they gave me a toy, or if they gave me food, I would receive it with the sentiment that they were giving this to me, for me, thinking of me. And that sentiment is very precious. It's often more precious than the actual gift. And the gift that I receive becomes a reminder of that sentiment, which is what makes it meaningful. So, you know, I do feel that way about gifts that I receive. But on the part of wanting to gift things that people actually want, sometimes it feels more practical to give someone a means to get something that they want for themselves. I think that when you get someone a gift card, it's appreciated, but that sentiment can be a little bit watered down. You know, if I had to speak about it really romantically, I just feel like a gift card is a bit impersonal. But I'm pretty sure that it would make a lot of people happy. We wander through the city streets, but seem unable to find anything that resembles a doll shop or anything that I could consider a fitting present. The simple act of searching is starting to clear my head. The events of last week are starting to fade away, and I'm looking forward to giving Hanako her gift. If I can find one, that is.
Oh, this is hopeless. I thought we'd be able to find something in the city for sure. And I'm sure we've walked down this street at least once before.
That almost sounds like you're giving up, Hisao.
I'm not, but it's a lot harder than I thought.
I'd be happy with just McDonald's.
I would also be pretty happy with McDonald's, not gonna lie.
I think it helps if there's a direction for it. If it's like, if I know you're saving up for this, so here money. Well, yeah, that's like you're trying to do something that this person would find helpful and meaningful to them, helping them accomplish a goal, whether that's, you know, giving them money or giving them a tool or something. Try not to be so restricted in your thinking. Maybe we should actually go into some shops and have a look around.
That might work. I've never really been any good at window shopping.
Lily and I circle around the city streets once more, this time popping into stores that catch our attention. In the end, though, nothing comes up as especially appropriate. Hanako's tastes are often quite hard to pin down at the best of times, thanks to her intensely private nature, and those tastes we do know are hard to accommodate. May we take a break for a minute? I'm a bit exhausted. I agree and leave Lily to rest against a railing while I go to get a couple of drinks from nearby vending machine. After walking up to the vending machine and grabbing myself some lemonade, I find myself at a bit of a loss. Not really knowing Lily's tastes, I decide to take a guess and grab something that seems a little girly, but not too weird. Strawberry flavored milk.
Back.
I walk up to her and place the carton into her outstretched hands, making sure she has a grip on it before letting go. She feels out its contours before opening it and taking a very tentative sip, her approving smile afterwards telling me I made the right choice. We both rest and have a quiet drink for a few minutes. A familiar soft ringing begins to sound from Lily's side. She quickly apologizes as her hand goes into her pocket, pulling out her mobile phone. Do you mind if I take this?
It's fine, don't worry.
She nods to me in thanks before turning away and flipping the phone open, bringing it to the side of her face as she picks up the call. Going by the tone of Lily's voice, the person on the other end is no doubt some friend or another. I tune out of their conversation pretty quickly as the snippets that Lily says make it sound like little more than gossip. Without much else to do, I find myself watching Lily. She really is a pretty girl, which would hardly hurt her popularity in school. It's interesting just how much Hanako and Lily contrast with each other, in both personality and appearance. For a few minutes, I just lean back and drink, watching her. Before long, Lily says her goodbyes to the person she's talking to and hangs up, placing her phone back in her pocket. and leaning back against the railing as before. Sorry, just a friend from class. I take one final swig from my can before throwing it into the bin. Lily gives me her carton to throw away soon after, finishing it off relatively quickly.
You seem to have a lot of friends.
Oh? Lily waits for me to continue, her interest piqued.
I was just thinking that you and Hanako contrast really heavily. It's hard to imagine Hanako doing a lot of the things you do, or knowing the people you know.
You seem to think about Hanako quite a bit.
I don't know, it's just... she's mysterious, I guess. I kind of want to know more about her, which isn't that easy.
It almost sounds like you're doubting your relationship to her.
I don't think it's that. I just want to do more for her, being her friend and all. I don't even really know how she sees me.
This statement seems to interest Lily quite a bit. I wonder if Hanako said anything about me to Lily during their conversations. I'm about to ask what's on her mind as she picks herself up from the railing. Shall we be off then? Her voice and expression show that she's playing games with me. Lily knows damn well that she's leaving me hanging. With a sigh, I pick myself up the railing and have a brief look around. We have stuff to do, so I'll just try and get back to her about this later. Tucked in between a newsstand and a convenience store is a small shop. The sign above the door reads Othello's Antiques in decorative English script. It would be easy to miss if we were walking along the street, but since we're stationary and I'm purposefully looking around, it's just noticeable.
Say, Lily, that doll you got Hanako, was it new?
Well, yes, but I'm not quite sure I know what you mean.
I think I've found our shop. It's across the road.
Oh? What is it? Some kind of toy shop?
It's an antique shop. I think it's probably going to be our best bet.
Really? I didn't know we even have one of those here.
Neither did I. I missed it the first time we went by here. It's pretty well hidden.
Well then, it can't hurt to check. Inspired by this new find, we quickly dust ourselves off and head towards the store, Lily's hand finding its way to my elbow for guidance. The store has a strange, musky scent to it. The layout is more like a garage than a store. Things are strewn around the floor without any immediate semblance of order.
Hello?
The shopkeeper gives us an almost bored look, though his through his particularly small eyes. I don't know how to read anymore. His face looks weary and tired, and his dress style is distinctly anachronistic. He gives us a polite nod of welcome before going back to his book. Lily holds tightly onto my arm, and I find myself having to split my efforts between making sure we don't miss a potential gift for Hanako and making sure Lily doesn't inadvertently bump into anything. The task is quite difficult given the haphazard way the store is laid out, and the many things poking out of the shelves thereon, or sitting on pieces of furniture. But eventually we safely arrive at an old desk, covered in dolls and teddy bears.
I think this is the right place. There's pretty much every kind of doll you could imagine here.
That should make the choice much simpler. Could you please pick one for me, Hisao? I had a feeling it would come to this. I picture Hanako in my mind and try to imagine which of the dolls before me would suit her the best. You know, I'm not really a doll person. I'm not really a doll person. I never was in my younger years either. So thinking about getting a doll for someone. And dolls are expensive, actually. My eyes wander across the collection. Each one is as exquisite as the one before it. The sheer number of styles is boggling, but eventually one catches my eye.
Yeah, what about this one?
I pick up a small porcelain doll that looks to be at least somewhat affordable. Dressed in a Victorian-era green dress with a little brown hat sitting atop its blonde hair. It looks a little like Lily. I gently pass it to her, who delicately feels her way around the object while wearing a look of slight concentration. It certainly feels beautiful. Do you think it would suit Hanako, in your opinion?
I think it would. It could look good in her room.
In that case, I'll trust your judgment. Will you be getting her something as well? Or shall this be a shared gift?
I'm not sure. I think I should get her something myself, but I don't think getting her another doll is such a great idea. Maybe...
I let my voice trail off as I look around the shop. Resting on a writing table not far from us is a decorative box that catches my eye.
Wait here. I think I found something.
My, that was fast. I gingerly walk through a collection of crystal glassware and pick up the box. The wooden sides are covered in carvings depicting ancient battles around a castle. The top, however, looks far too familiar. Alternating squares of white and black varnished wood are arranged on the lid.
That's a really nice item. It's a chess set from overseas.
The store owner's sudden appearance startles me a little. I didn't see him approaching at all. I suppose he's trying to help us because we don't really look like we know what we're looking for. Or on the other hand, maybe he wants to keep an eye on us because he suspects we might shoplift instead.
I'm looking for a present for a friend. I see. In that case, this chess set would make a fine choice.
Realization floods into my mind. This is a pretty good-looking set, but this is an antique shop. They're not well known for their bargain prices.
How old is this? This is a reproduction. My best estimate is that it's about 5 years old. I see. How much?
He thinks a little before telling me, which is slightly disconcerting.
I'll let you take this now for 7,000 yen.
I balk a little. I wasn't expecting to spend that much, but this does seem perfect. Then again, maybe that's a testament to how well he worked out how much he could make me pay.
Couldn't make it 5,000? 5,500. No lower. I'm sold. Oh, we'd also like to get that doll.
The store owner looks over my shoulder, focusing on Lily and the doll in her hands. His eyes narrow and he visibly takes a moment to switch mental gears. In the process, his smile drops slightly. Oh. I guess that means not everything in this store is a reproduction.
Are you quite sure that you want that doll, miss?
I trust my friend's judgment.
I see. No offense.
None taken. If you could please wrap it for me, it would be appreciated.
Yes, of course, but it is 20,000 yen.
Lily reaches into her purse and presents 4 crisp-looking 5,000 yen notes. Here you are. 20,000 yen. The storekeeper dutifully takes them in the doll and proceeds to the counter. I take Lily's arm to guide her there. Oh, Lily, rich cat! Rich cat, Lily. Sweats a bit.
Are you sure about this?
It's okay. I have the funds I need. As I said, I trust your judgment. I feel a little guilty on 2 fronts. Firstly, because Lily has just spent a lot of money on my recommendation, and secondly, because I have a feeling the value of my gift isn't high enough. Nevertheless, Lily does seem to get somewhat awkward whenever the mention of money comes about. Richer than a gacha addict? Have you met a gacha addict? They don't have money. You think they're rich? You think someone who spends on gacha is rich? Yo. No, that's a rash generalization. But if they're an addict, I'd be sweaty to look at their expenses. I hand the shopkeeper my present and the money for it in turn. He puts the cash into the register before busying himself with wrapping the doll and repeating the process onto the chessboard. They're rich in game. They're rich in something, I tell you. I think it takes a lot, and it's easily done. I think that if you have those tendencies, it's a lot easier done than some people would realize. If you do have that kind of self-control, though, then good for you. Eventually, he finishes the gift wrapping and hands us both our presents.
Please be careful on your way back, and do come again. Thanks.
Indeed. Thank you very much. The store owner bows deeply to us as we leave. Well, it did take us all day, but we found something in the end.
That we did.
Now that the presents are wrapped, I'm feeling a little impatient to give them to Hanako. It's a common reaction to buying gifts, wanting to see the reaction of the receiver as they discover what it is. And part of me wants to return to Hanako just to confirm her condition with my own eyes.
So, should we head back?
Let's. We've done a lot of walking today, so I shan't mind taking a rest back at the dormitories.
Lily's right. Now that the need to find a shop is over, my legs are feeling quite tired. Well then, back to the school for us. I'm looking forward to resting for a bit too.
Lily holds out her arm, and I link mine with hers. Together we make our way back to the bus stop. Gift is bought. Nods. Muto reads equations and formulas to us one by one in his usual unenthusiastic monotone directly from the book. It's possible that he might be excited about what he teaches us. Sometimes he can display an awkward spark of passion for it, as if he's starting to get into the material. Most days, however, are like this one. What we're covering is fairly simple, so I find it increasingly difficult to keep my concentration on him. It's not too long until my legs begin aching again, which only makes it even harder. I'm almost starting to regret walking around the city yesterday with Lily. Since leaving the hospital, I've done very little physical exertion. Walking to and from the local corner store hardly counts. Despite Amy's attempts when I first arrived in Yamaku, I've largely given up on the idea of ever returning to my old level of fitness. I have little doubt that's why walking around town for so many hours has made me quite so sore. It's depressing, and it reminds me of one more thing I can't do since I had my heart attack. It makes me feel pathetic.
No... Ikezawa?
It's odd for Muto to ask Hanako a question, but not unheard of. She quickly jumps to her feet, a little startled. Oh! Oh, wow! Mimi, thank you so much for the resubscribe with Prime! Thank you for subscribing with Prime. Welcome back to Bun Hell. We are just, romancing the lovely girl on the right here. Yet again. I'm still trying. Still trying. She knows that Muto calling on her is rare, so all eyes in the classroom are going to be on her. This way, she doesn't run the risk of making eye contact with anyone else. Yes?
In this particular example of a redox reaction, the combustion of methane reaction actually produces one more product than is listed. That product is...
Even though it's a softball question, she timidly waits a bit before answering, biting down slightly on her lower lip as if to keep her concentration. Heat?
Well done. This is an exothermic reaction, with the reaction giving more heat than is put into it.
Receiving a nod from Muto, Hanako takes a seat once again and gives her a relieved sigh. A shaky start, but it's something. It'll be nice to take her out for her birthday, somewhere different from the usual isolation of her room and the tea room. With the progress she has made until now, I don't think she'll have much of a problem going to the city.
Right then. With the remainder of this class, I'd like to work in groups of 3 or 4 on the problems in Chapter 12. I'll be here if you need me.
Muto sits down behind his desk, pulls some loose sheets out of a folder and starts on some kind of paperwork of his own. I thought teachers were supposed to do that kind of thing after class, not during it. Regardless, I look to my right to pick out someone to form a group with. Given the two smiling faces hovering near mine, I don't think I'm going to get much say in the matter.
I suppose we have a group then.
Hee-chan, you wanna work together? Okay. That's great. It's really been a while. The class begins the process of noisily shuffling the desks around, with Shizune doing the same as she puts hers in front of mine. She's a little lucky to not be able to hear the din of the classroom, which is loud enough to cause some discomfort. Truth be told, working with Shizune and Misha is probably a good outcome. Shizune and I are pretty good at this subject, and Misha has really nice handwriting. He sucks! Brutal. As I look to Misha, I notice a tall figure behind her. The shadow catches Misha's attention as well, and she turns to face the dark-haired observer. Good afternoon, Hanako! Hello? Hello, Misha, my beloved. I also love Misha. She's great. Shizune finally notices Hanako after looking up and following the gazes of Misha and I. In quick measure, she taps Misha on the shoulder to get her attention before signing away. Shi-chan says if you're looking for a group, you can join ours. Hanako looks down and blushes a little at the offer. Out of all the people in the class, Hanako's most familiar with the three of us, so it's reasonable that she'd come to us first. And then again, her actually coming up to a group with the intention of joining them is something she apparently very rarely did before. She leaves briefly to drag her desk over, and Shizune and Misha wheel back to me as soon as her back is turned. I guess we get to play again, Ki-chan. You hardly ever play with us anymore.
I wonder why you two always seem to have some ulterior motive.
That hurt, Hi-chan. I'd almost think you were insulting me. But it's Hi-chan, so I know that you're joking.
Such a great sense of humor about it. It'd be awful if someone were to take advantage of your good nature, like making you help them with their work.
Shizune seems excited for a second, a little surprised that I'm willing to challenge her, but when she sees Hanako coming back, she backs off with a smile. I guess the mind games are over early for today. Hanako gently sits down her desk in front of Misha's. Her eyes are locked downwards, and I'm left wondering why until I look around the class. Most are busy setting up their own groups, for a few are casting curious glances at her. At this range, it's hard to tell whether that is where their interest in her ends, or if they're talking about her as well. It's strange. No one bats an eyelid when Hanako runs out of class to avoid group work, but now that she's making an effort, they're staring at her as if she's done something wrong. We all move to sort ourselves out, spreading our textbooks and worksheets around the larger surface created by the 4 joined desks. It isn't long before the class as a whole gets down to work. Hi, Hanako. It's nice to finally work with you. Yeah. Are you the reason Hi-chan has been avoiding us lately? Shi-chan says it's a little rude, but if Hi-chan wanted to spend time with a cute girl, it's understandable. I don't think it's like that. Hanako starts to fidget, unused to this kind of attention. I think that an ordinary person would drop the conversation by now, but Misha's like the antithesis of Hanako. Part of that includes being blind to ordinary social cues, while Hanako is overly sensitive to them. Hold on. Sorry? Because of that, Misha barrels ahead with the questions too quickly for me to get a chance to interject and guide the discussion somewhere more comfortable. Really? So he wasn't hanging out with you yesterday? No. I can feel my cover being blown already. Lily didn't want Hanako to know that we were out buying presents for her, let alone planning out her birthday party. It wouldn't be good for her to find out.
Yeah, I was doing something else. You know how it is.
Really? I wonder what was so important for Hee-chan to blow us off like that. If it wasn't to spend time with Hanako, then what could it be? It's really interesting. Now this is starting to feel like an interrogation. I'm surprised at how Misha's able to exert such a feeling of pressure without actually intending to. Were you with Lily? Out of nowhere, Hanako manages to stumble on the answer. She may be dreadfully quiet and shy, but she's very intuitive.
What makes you say that?
Yesterday, Lily said something similar. Hello. Welcome. Suspicious. Hee-chan, I demand that you explain yourself.
Hey, shouldn't we be doing the assignment?
But it's a mysterious... Even Hanako wants to know.
I turn to look at Hanako. It's true. From the expression on her face, it's obvious she wants to know as well, and I think we're past the point where I could weasel out of having to provide an explanation. I apologize to Lily in my mind. She really did want to keep it a secret, but now it doesn't seem possible anymore. I feel a rush of conflicting emotions, so jumbled that I can't readily identify them, but they crash around in my head as I try to calm down and speak. Alright, I'll tell you. I went into town with Lily, but it wasn't what you think. Lily and I were... For Hanako's birthday, we were...
The cat is out of the bag, but it looks like Hanako's taking it a little better than I thought she would. A brief silence passes around our little group as Shizune and Misha look at each other sheepishly. I can tell that they didn't expect their game to turn out like this. Misha looks up to Hanako in order to apologize, then pauses. Hanako is staring at the middle of her desk and barely moving, a maudlin expression on her face. I guess I was wrong about her taking it well. Hanako, I'm sorry. There's a few seconds pause, but Hanako lifts and shakes her head. It's okay. Her expression looks odd, like she's very tired. That doesn't seem natural, but it's nothing alarming. Nobody really wants to continue with the current conversation, so we open our textbooks and begin our group work. This is pretty dull. While the equations we're supposed to work out as a group will take a while, most of it is going to be boringly mechanical. It also doesn't help that while things didn't go as bad as it could have, it has left an awkward atmosphere around us. Still, we manage. Shizune's face betrays that she has about the same expectations of our group as I do, and the two of us begin to write our group's results. Misha, on the other hand, is scrunching up her lips and very visibly trying to make heads or tails of what we're doing. Hanako's looking on quietly, absorbing what we write and what I say. She usually has the same expression when the teacher speaks. It's a shame her attendance is so unreliable. With the way she takes in information, I think she'd do quite well in class if she actually followed the lessons regularly. I wonder if this might be why Shizune seems so hard on her. Hey Hanako, do you understand this? Misha looks to Hanako, but I suspect her hope is more to find a comrade in ignorance rather than genuine help. Not really. I guess. I'm surprised by how tense she isn't answering, but she settles back down, She breathes out, and the way her upper body and head lower remind me of a deflating balloon.
You okay? I could go over this bit if you want.
Hanako shakes her head slightly, but then again I don't think she needs the extra explanation despite what she said. Misha quickly interjects, entirely oblivious, and I end up slowly going through how we ended up at one of our results step by step. Times like this remind me that this kind of work may not be mechanical for everyone, but rather feels that way to me due to my grasp of the subject. It's a satisfying feeling. As Misha brings her balled fist onto an open hand in realization, I discover another nice feeling. My explanation got through to her and she manages to work out the next equation by herself with a minimum of guidance. Throughout all of this, Hanako is unusually unresponsive. She's normally very quiet, but one can still see her eyes roving periodically over the landscape of the classroom in front of her, or anxiously moving her hands in some way, or shifting her shoulders periodically. Right now, these small movements that I've gotten used to seeing are all missing. Someone not moving at all is definitely weird. Even Misha can tell that something wrong. Hanako, are you sure you're okay? Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm fine. A little more strongly this time, but she turns away as she says it. It only makes me doubt her answer, yet at the same time, I can tell she doesn't want to talk about it further. Having already had one very awkward conversation today that I'm still not fully over, I don't want to pursue the matter too much either. We settle back into our routine, debating over our answers whenever a doubt comes up. But as time goes on, I notice that Hanako isn't talking at all. It's frustrating. She had made so much progress. It makes me a little angry that she's an Misha for undoing the surprise Lily wanted to keep secret so much. I know I'm at fault too. Maybe I could have kept it under wraps somehow. Shizune has noticed Hanako's silence as well and is also getting antsy. I can see it on her face. It's strange that even though she's deaf, Shizune has perceived Hanako's unusual quietness sooner than Misha. Hanako, you're being too quiet. You have to contribute too. Someday we might work on a bigger project, like one that's so big it's worth celebrating. Afterwards, like with ice cream or cake. If you act like this, we won't take you along. I can tell that they're trying to tease her to bring her out of her shell, but I don't think that kind of approach will work on Hanako. It will just make her feel worse.
Guys, don't tease her like that.
Hi-chan, it's all in good fun. Shi-chan says she teases everyone anyway. They do back off though, with Misha moving away from the issue by asking me a question again. On seeing how difficult the problem she is working on is, I don't know whether it was a skillful dodge or a mere coincidence. It takes way more of our time than necessary because Shizune keeps disagreeing with me while I'm trying to explain it to Misha. And Misha's quick to believe her over me. So quick, in fact, that she forgets to translate what Shizune is saying.
Hey, the clock is kind of ticking down. We should speed up a little.
Hi-chan, you sound a little like Shi-chan there.
Just because I looked at my watch? Jeez, is that really all it takes? Time management, and suddenly I'm the student council president?
I look at Hanako's desk to see how she's doing and freeze. Our papers are covered in equations, but Hanako's only halfway there. It seems like she hasn't written anything in the past 20 minutes. When I realize that, I want to kick myself for how dumb I've been. I should have known that someone as fragile as Hanako wasn't just going to brush off what happened so easily, but I've been too eager to move on from an awkward situation to notice. She's been slowly shutting down for the last half hour and I had no clue. Her pen is still in her hand, but she doesn't slowly spin it around like she usually does. There isn't a single idle movement from Hanako. Only the fact that she tries to inch away once she feels she's near Misha and me looking at her tells me that she is even still conscious. We look away, and at least in my case, it's partly out of shame that it's gotten to this point. Though on the outside she is shut down almost completely, I know that it's a different story on the inside. What kind of things could she be thinking about as she tries harder and harder to shrink into herself, as if by willing it, she could somehow disappear? Everyone is looking at her now, stealing quick glances in between putting the finishing touches on their work. Misha attempts to ask her what's wrong, but that only makes the problem worse. If she weren't frozen to her seat, she would probably run out of the room right now. Misha's questions are loud enough to be heard throughout the entire classroom, and for a second I'm ready to snap at her, because I can only imagine how much worse it's making Hanako feel. Of course, if I were to do that, it would only make the situation worse. I'd believed that Hanako had gotten stronger, and she has, but it wasn't enough, and I was too eager to believe it. Now she's terrified, alone in the middle of the classroom, and there's nothing I can do without drawing more attention to her. It's infuriating. Misha's worried, and even Shizune's biting her lip. None of us know how to deal with the situation, so I decide to call Muto. His judgment would probably be better than ours. I look up and manage to catch his eye, silently motioning for him to go over. I would want to make as little fuss about this as possible, since if there's anything that would make this worse, it's more attention being focused on her. I know that Hanako can see everyone staring at our group, specifically at her, because they know if there is a problem, it has to be her. Everyone knows her, and it's the first thing anyone's mind would leap to. Her reputation for being a truant has marked her as an unusual person, even an unusual Yamaku. Who knows how many times they have stared at her before? Maybe it's because she's seen the class staring at her so much that she fears their gaze as she does, like she does, cowering from them. The time it takes Muto to walk over must be like an eternity to Hanako, and she looks like she's about to fall over. Muto quietly begins to ask us what's wrong, but before catching himself as he sees Hanako. Did we upset her?
Don't worry.
Muto bends down after calming Misha and looks intently at Hanako's face.
Hi, Ikezawa. Can I help you at all?
His voice is hushed and gentle. Everyone's acting so differently around Hanako now that the whole class has noticed something's wrong with her. Hanako doesn't respond, so Muto gently rests a hand on her shoulder. She starts shaking at his touch but won't even look up. Hanako continues to stare into the equations on her desk, vision so unfocused that I doubt she even sees them. She's worse than before. I remember that not even an hour ago, she was able to talk to him almost normally. Muto grimaces a bit as he stands again, and now that his expression's changed, I can see he wasn't exactly unaffected by what happened either. He takes a breath to settle himself before speaking in a very quiet voice. I'm a little impressed at how quickly he takes control of the situation.
Is that it? Nothing's wrong then?
Muto seems to say that to no one in particular. However, his words sound convincing enough that most of the people who are looking over at Hanako now turn away, getting back to their work. He gives a quick glance to his left and right. Several people at the desks around us are still staring curiously, but other than that, we seem to have escaped attracting too much attention. Muto notices me doing the same as him and smiles a little in his usual stilted way.
I think for Ikezawa's sake, that it would be good to quickly take her somewhere away from others. Nakai Hakamichi, could you please take Ikezawa out of the classroom? I'll keep everyone settled, so please don't worry about anything but her, okay?
Look well, Keen. He looks at Misha to tell her to interpret his words for Shizune, but she's already finished her translation by the time he does so. It's remarkable how little thought she needs to sign, as she still looks quite dazed otherwise. Nodding, Shizune and I stand and move to either side of Hanako. Muto steps back to allow us some room and talks to the table behind us, as some people there have begun to mutter between themselves about what's going on. We look at each other before lowering ourselves in unison, taking one arm around each of our shoulders and lifting. The two of us begin to walk at a slow pace to make sure we don't inadvertently hurt her. As much as we try to make this look normal, I'm quite sure there'd be many more gazes on us if not for Muto's distraction. Eventually, thankfully, we reached the door and got through. Nobody's outside, so we walk down the hallway. It doesn't seem like it's making her more at ease than she was in the classroom. Finally, I ask if she just wants to sit down. For a while, we simply stay in place and wait for her to say something. Shizune tentatively rubs Hanako's shoulder a little, but there's no response. Eventually, she shakes her head a little when Shizune tries again. Both of us looking at her, so we pick up on it immediately. Shizune's hand again comes to rest on Hanako's shoulder as she awakens, her face lifting to two very worried and anxious people looking at her. She looks at us silently for a while. I'm initially worried she might freak out or do something extreme, but those fears prove unwarranted as her expression slowly changes from an almost lifeless blank slate to a more normal withdrawn shyness. She wordlessly lowers her head, her eyes evasively moving to the side. She looks embarrassed, almost ashamed. I want to say something, anything to help. I can't, though. I don't really know what just happened or even what caused it. I feel helpless and ashamed of myself for not being of any use. Shizune sighs before looking at me. Even without words, I think I can tell what she's asking.
I'll take Hanako to the nurse. Is that okay by you?
I try to communicate my intentions through hand gestures, but I don't feel like I can manage to get through to her very well. Shizune makes a dreary face in response to my gesticulations, confirming my impression. She stabs her finger in the air decisively, first at me, then at Hanako, then towards the stairs. She waits for me to nod before pointing at herself, then pointing at the door to the classroom. I get the feeling Shizune is much better at this than I am. I nod at her since her plan is after all the same as mine. Shizune gets ready to make her exit, but she only leaves after looking at Hanako for quite some time.
Are you okay with me taking you to the nurse's office?
Hanako doesn't say anything or nod, but she stands up in place by herself, and when I begin to walk, she obediently follows. I've read about people being catatonic before, but I think this time I'm seeing it for myself. She looks extremely tired. After everything that's happened, it's not a surprise. After Hanako silently takes off her shoes and lies on the bed in the infirmary, the nurse and I take our leave. He shuts the curtain behind us. We both take a seat, and I quietly and thoroughly go through everything that happened in quite some detail. I want to understand what happened, and the nurse has a good chance as anyone of knowing. He nods throughout my explanation, his face looking troubled as I finish.
It must have been very troubling for you to have seen all this. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I get that she fainted, but I don't really understand anything about why it happened or why she's acting like this.
He nods, but his face is clouded.
You don't know either?
Well, yes and no. It's complicated.
I assume you've heard about the concept of patient confidentiality at some point. This is a bit of a minefield in that respect. I'm going to put this pretty bluntly. This is a matter for Ikezawa, me, and her therapist.
I move to protest, but think better of it. I want to deny what he says, but if I think this through rationally, what he says makes perfect sense.
I understand. Good. I wish I could help you more, but I think what Ikazawa needs right now isn't somebody prying into her past or her emotions. She just needs somebody to be there for her. She needs a friend. For what it's worth, I think you've done well in bringing her here. Sounds like you and your friends dealt with the situation well, too. I'd give you a lollipop or a sticker as a reward, but you might be a little too old for either.
He gives a cocky grin, obviously trying his best to lighten the atmosphere. I'm not really in a laughing mood, but he does manage to get a smile out of me.
Thanks. Do you mind if I stay here with Hanako? Appreciate the thought, but I think it would be better to let her rest for now. She'll be let back to her dormitory room this evening, so you could visit her then.
I agree with him before standing. It feels like all I can ever do around the nurse is humbly agree to what he says. But it was the same with the doctors in the hospital too. The walk back to the classroom is a long one. My mind feeling heavy under the weight of so many things happening so suddenly. Even as I re-enter the classroom, I'm thinking about Hanako. My stomach feels like it's turning into knots when I think about how to deal with her. I still don't know what I'm going to say when I see her again. Thankfully, the class doesn't pay me much heed. There are a couple of questioning glances, but overall not many people seem to be aware of what happened. Muto raises his eyebrows to get my attention when I pass by his desk.
Nakai, I take it Ikizawa's in the infirmary now? Yeah, I took her there and the nurse said I should let her rest.
Muto nods, assuring me that I made the right call. He scratches his chin for a second before rising from his desk.
Everyone, I want you to continue with the exercise. Nakai, I'll see you in the hallway, please.
His speech is hushed, but overall he doesn't seem to be acting too differently from how he usually does. Being a teacher, maybe it's to be expected. As we go out into the hallway, I notice him taking a quick glance left and right to check if there are any students milling around. The hallway is nearly soundless, but I can't think of anything except waiting for Muto to speak.
Nakai, what do you think the purpose of the school is? To cater to the needs of disabled students?
Muto scratches his head as he shakes it.
No. If we wanted to do that, we would have built a whole new school from scratch. One floor, talking whiteboards, that kind of thing. Look around, Nakai. The school is about giving you all a future that you would have been denied in regular education. Huh? Think of it this way. If we wanted you to graduate and go straight into a hospital, do you think we'd put in this much effort?
The bluntness of Muto's statement temporarily stuns me, causing me to forget about the immediate situation.
No. That's right. We want you all to leave here as useful members of society. I'm not quite sure I'm following you. I have high hopes for you, Nakai. You're possibly the first student I've had that gets my lectures.
That isn't something a teacher should be admitting so freely.
You could easily take your studies of science and well into university. Have you ever considered that? I can't say I have. Well, what have you considered? For your future, that is. I can't say that I've put much thought into my future.
For a moment, I'm distinctly reminded of Lily questioning me about the same subject. It's only been a little over 5 months since I was gasping for air on the ground. It's too soon to be thinking about the future, and besides, Hanako's problems seem much bigger to me right now. Muto gives a disapproving sigh before continuing.
Think of this place as an opportunity. Here you have boundless facilities, good teachers, plus the added bonus of the nurse and his staff. You should be doing nothing but thinking of the future. Right.
As I raise my head to meet his gaze, a thought occurs to me. It's almost like Muto totally sidestepped the issue at hand.
Excuse me, but why do none of the staff seem to care when Hanako skips class? I've seen you watch her walk out of class more than once. Shouldn't you at least say something? Well, Nakai, it's not really that simple. Every student here has special needs. If it weren't for that, then we wouldn't have a school here. For example, I wouldn't keep you in class if you were having trouble breathing, would I? But that's not...
Muto cuts me off before I can even think about finishing my sentence.
Ikezawa's case is very much like that. But instead of CPR or a pacemaker, what she needs is time and space. The faculty was made aware of this from the day she arrived here. Thus, whenever she feels the need to leave classes, we let her do so. And even though she isn't a star pupil, she seems to pass all her exams, so it hasn't affected her ability to study. Isn't that enough?
I open my mouth to protest, but I can't find a fault in his argument. While her condition does at first seem to be wholly psychological, physiological, its worst effects have been on her psyche. It still puts me off, though. Isn't he just passing on the responsibility for her problem? Surely she can't go like this surely she can't go like this for her entire life.
I understand that you might not be used to this kind of thing yet. It's been a big change for you. That said, it's less than a year until graduation now. Maybe you won't have to get used to this school. If you keep your head down, I'm sure you'll do well enough in your exams.
I numbly nod, more to simply acknowledge that I'm listening than out of agreement. I felt like I was getting used to this school, but it feels like it's just been thrown back in my face.
But what about Hanako? I hope that she'll perform well enough to do what she wants to do. What that is, I don't know. Not all students leave school with an idea of what they want to do, unfortunately.
He takes care to emphasize the last word, as if it wasn't quite clear enough already, and gives me a moment to mull his words over.
Today's been a troublesome day for you, and I doubt you'd be able to concentrate much anyway after all that's happened, so I'll allow you to take the rest of the day off. Your grades have been good in this class so far, which makes me think you won't have any trouble catching up on what we've been doing.
He gives a small smile along with his praise, as if to make up for the seriousness of his lecturing before now.
Go collect your things, and I'll see you tomorrow. Right. Thank you.
Muto's roundabout speech has left my thoughts scattered. I'm still not any closer to working out what I can do to help Hanako, if anything, and my mind is all the more confused after what Muto has said. I'm also still bothered by the fact that Hanako was helped at least as much by Shizune, her enemy by proxy, as by myself, but I don't know whether that is just male bravado or a genuine concern. While I collect Hanako's and my things from the class, I continue to try and sort out my feelings. I want to say that I understand her and that I'm there for her, but while I might have been able to say that just yesterday, I can't say it now. I wish I could. I lay on my bed, trying to collect my thoughts. After Hanako's panic attack, I found myself fundamentally reassessing the relationship we share and what I know about her. I had a hard enough time dealing with 4 months in the hospital. One look at her scars tells me that she was in one for a lot longer than I was. Be that as it may, I know next to nothing about her past. She's told me about the house fire, but only in the most basic way. And what of her family? I still haven't asked Lily about them. There hasn't been a good opportunity to bring it up. I don't know where she grew up or what her old school was like, nor of her past friends, her wishes and ambitions, not even her tastes in music, food, movies. All the little things that I knew about all of my old friends. Just what have I been doing for all this time I've been with her and Lily? In the distance, I hear the bells signaling the end of classes. With any luck, Lily will soon realize that neither Hanako nor I are around and return to the dormitories. My mobile phone starts to ring, cutting my thinking short. It quite startles me, as I have rarely been called since coming to Yamaku.
Hello, Hisao Nakai speaking.
Oh, Hisa, I'm glad I found you. You weren't at any of our usual places, so I thought this would be the fastest way to contact you. I probably should have guessed it would be Lily, as she's one of the few people I've given my number to. Even through the phone, her voice sounds slightly on edge.
Hanako and I left class early. She had some kind of panic attack.
The line goes silent. If it weren't for the background static, I would have thought Lily had hung up on me. I understand. Could you come by my room? I'd like to talk with you.
Sure. And I'd appreciate the chance to have a bit of a talk, actually.
Good. Good. I also have some bad news. I think we should discuss this in person. It's hard to grasp the seriousness of the situation from Lily's tone. She sounds so calm most of the time, but that could be a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it.
Okay, I'll be right there.
I collect Hanako's school things from my desk and head straight for Lily's room. I rap my knuckles on her door and she soon calls me in. Lily sits at the table inside her room, looking a little worse for wear. I guess that's because of the bad news. Following her gesture of invitation, I sit across from her and lay Hanako's things on the table. Well, there's no point in either of us waiting. Would you mind going first, Hisa? What happened today? My memory of the incident is already beginning to fade, but I explain it as best I can to Lily, inviting Hanako to work with the group. She's Nan Misha's questioning. Our foray to town getting discovered, and the subsequent panic attack. I add Shizune's reaction almost as an afterthought, but Lily seems to take some kind of comfort in hearing about it. I guess rivals don't become rivals for no reason. There must be some history there, but now isn't the time to explore it. I see. She had said her therapist sessions were helping, but I had my doubts. It's quite a shame. Her birthday has caused problems before, but I'd hoped that she would have improved with you around, and the more intensive therapy. Where is Hanako now?
Last time I saw her, she was in the infirmary. I guess she's gone back to her room by now.
She wasn't in the library or the tea room when I checked, so I can only assume that too.
You said you also had some bad news. What's the matter? Does it concern Hanako?
Lily shifts her position, the body's way of saying she's searching for the right words. My aunt has fallen gravely ill. I'm afraid I'm going to be heading back to Scotland to visit her, and to spend some time with my family.
What? Is she alright? When do you leave?
I'm not altogether sure of exactly how she's faring at the moment. The last I heard, she was stable. I'll be leaving Saturday. It's the earliest flight I could get. Stable. That's code for needs to stay in the hospital. I've been stable long enough to know that, and to know that it doesn't necessarily mean someone is in good condition, but merely treading water. Type 2B, welcome, welcome, hello, hello. Situation is bad. Situation is bad. Just had a sticky day with Hanako. On the upside, stable is Stable is much better than critical condition. At least she's not on the brink of death.
Stable. That's a relief.
Yes, but this means that I won't be here for Hanako's birthday. I wanted to tell you now so we could think of something before we told Hanako, but after today's events, I'm not even sure if there's going to be an issue if we simply cancel the party.
I don't think that's such a good idea. Hanako already knows that we were planning a party now. To go back on that seems like the wrong thing to do. Also, we should do something for your going away, right?
You make it sound as if I won't be coming back. If all goes well, I should only be away for a week, but possibly 2.
That's one relief, at least.
With that in mind, what do you suggest then?
Given the circumstances, I don't think karaoke is really appropriate. You're not going away for the greatest of reasons, so having too much fun would feel wrong. What did you do for her birthday last year?
Last year, I literally couldn't get her out of her room. She'd locked the door. All I could do was leave food outside for her, making sure she was at least eating well. This is perhaps the most depressed I've ever seen and heard Lily act. I feel sorry for her, given how defeated she must feel to be unable to help her closest friend.
Perhaps it would be better to throw the party before you leave then.
That does sound like it would be the easiest option.
I think we should at least tell Hanako both about your trip and her party. I have her things from class as well.
That's a good point. Shall we go and visit her now?
I think that would be a good idea.
Part of me is dying to see Hanako. The last time I saw her, she looked like death walking, and these last few hours have torn me apart just thinking about that. We quietly get up and file out of Lily's room. Hanako's room is next door in the same hallway. Knocking lightly gets us no response, but the door proves to be unlocked. Lily pauses for a moment. As the handle unexpectedly moves under her hand before opening the door. Hanako's room is startlingly bare and monotone. There are no decorations on the plain white walls, a plain dark blue blanket, and only a few books, papers, and purely utilitarian items on the shelves. Hello, Hills of Gold. Welcome. Just welcome in general. We've reached sad times in Hanako Road. Even her bed sheets are monochrome. The entire room feels as subdued as Hanako's character. Hanako herself is laying curled up on her bed. She may not be crying now, but her eyes are closed tightly to stop herself, and the tracks left by her tears still sit on her reddened cheeks. I quietly walk in and set her bag down on her desk, afraid of startling her too much. Hello, Hanako. Hisa told me about what happened today. Are you alright? Hanako's eyes open, though only a little. I'm okay. She tilts her head slightly to look at me, noticing my grimacing before I can hide it. Sorry for making you worry. Really, I'm fine now. She really doesn't look nor sound okay, though at least she seems more calm than she was before. She still looks as if the slightest breath could emotionally break her.
I said it before, right? You don't need to be sorry for this.
Hisa's right. I shouldn't have hidden something like a birthday celebration from you. I see Hanako shiver at the word. Lily picks up on the silence that follows, and crouches down to Hanako's level. I'm the one who should be sorry, Hanako. Hanako's eyes open to peer at Lily. She looks at Lily for some time, taking in her face with those dark, analytical eyes of hers. Lily must have made the right impression on her, as Hanako recovers enough to prop herself up on the bed and shift to sitting on its side. Hanako worries about many things, but troubling others is foremost among them. Hearing Hanako's shuffling, Lily moves forward and feels out the side of the bed, eventually taking a seat beside her and taking Hanako's left hand in both of hers. The feeling of me being out of place when the two are together has lessened in the time when we've known each other, but it's still occasionally very much there. This is one of those times, I think.
Lily, if you want me to go...
I don't want that. Lily and I are both surprised at Hanako mustering her courage. A half-mumbled okay is all I can give her in reply, and I take her desk chair to sit in. Hanako, I'm afraid I have some bad news. So Lily's going to break the news now. With Hanako having affirmed our relationship so clearly, perhaps Lily thought the timing was good, or at least as good as it will ever be. My aunt has fallen ill, so I need to return to my family for a time. Concern replaces Hanako's remorseful expression. Your family? You mean in Scotland, right? That's right. Akira and I will be leaving Saturday. So you're going away? I won't be gone for long, probably only a week or two. I'll be back before you know it. And Hisao will be here, right?
That's right. I'm not going anywhere.
Hanako seems to take only minor comfort in this, but she does manage to summon some resolve from somewhere inside her. Is your aunt going to be alright? I'm not sure. Silence falls. It's depressing that the thing to truly bring Hanako out of her rut is another's misfortune. I decide to bring up the other matter that brought us here, to distract at least in part from the dismal feeling permeating the room.
Anyway, we were thinking that it would be a good idea to have a going away party for Lily, and it could double as... yeah.
I cut myself off before mentioning her birthday, as that seems to be a trigger for such fierce emotions within her. Lily gives Hanako's hand a gentle squeeze. Is it alright by you, Hanako? It won't be anything lavish or overdone, just something small in my room. So just in this school? Just us? That's right, just the three of us. If you like, I could ask Akira to come as well. Okay. You're only going for a week? 1 week or 2, yes. I promise you it won't be any longer. Okay. Most people would be upset at hearing about a friend's family member falling ill, and happy at a party. But with Hanako it seems that both events are on the same level.
Alright then, you look like you need a rest, Hanako, so it might be best if we all went back to our rooms for now.
You know that if you ever want anything, you can always talk to me or Hisao, right? Lily's voice is pensive, an unusual edge for someone as confident in herself as she. I understand. Thank you, Lily. Hisao. Well then, good night, Hanako. Night, let out a long breath after the door closes behind us. It feels a little like I've been deep underwater, and now, and only now, I've been able to come up for air. Lily doesn't seem to be doing well either. She looks pale and drawn.
Are you alright?
I'm just a little tired. It's been hectic recently.
Have you slept at all? A little tired sounds like an understatement given how you look.
I think I managed to get a couple of hours of sleep before class. I'll be okay.
I feel bad about pressing Lily right now. I think both of us are pretty tired from everything that's happened as well. I think you should get some rest. It's been a big day and staying up isn't good for your...
Oh? Hmm? Hello, hello? Fauna? Fauna Raid? Hello, Raiders. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you, Fauna, for the raid. We're just, we're in the depressing depths of Hanako's room at the moment. So pardon the dim atmosphere. Welcome, G. Welcome. G'day. Thank you for your concern, Hisao. Good night, then.
Okay. Night, Lily.
I leave Lily in the hallway as she opens the door to her room and begin to make my way to my own. As I walk down the quiet hallway, I can't get that image of Hanako out of my mind. Huddled and pitiable, lying helpless with tears on her cheeks. I began to think that she was just a normal, if extremely shy person, but her problems run much deeper. Trying to take our relationship further than what we share now, when she's so fragile and vulnerable, wouldn't be right. I don't need to be more than her friend in order to protect her, to try and stop anything like this ever happening again. The possibility of my feelings for her going beyond that doesn't matter anymore. Hanako is precious to me, and that's why I can't take advantage of her. But even so, there's still that sting I feel when I think that way. For now, I need to sleep. Tomorrow, hopefully, will be a better day. Sighs and holds Hanako. Okay, we've gone through enough for today. We're gonna save our journey here. Gosh. Also, I just realized this, but I hadn't removed my tree from the corner, so I'm very sorry that that's been in the way the entire time. Wow. Goodness. Also, I'm sorry to the raiders for popping by. Hello, I am Bun. I am just want a raider to stream that was ending. I'll stay around. I'll stick around to chat a little bit longer. Let's go back to our main screen though. Back again. Hello. Back in Bun Forest. I've turned off my chats. I'll just turn them on again. Actually, let's go back to the normal. Over here. Wow. Athos, g'day. Hello. But Hanako Rouge. In terms of what you missed from before, so we went shopping with Lily to buy a present for Hanako. And well, there was a lot there to unpack. There's still a lot to unpack. And after quite a while of walking around, the two of them eventually found an antique shop. And so Lily bought a doll for Hanako, while Hisao bought a chess set. And they go to class, and there's group work. And usually Hanako doesn't join group work, but she joined with them then. However, like, because of Misha and Shizune's questioning antics, Hisao ended up just kind of like confessing about his trip into town for Hanako's birthday with Lily. And things seemed alright at first, but she just had a bit of a panic attack and had to be escorted out of the classroom. And so they took her to the nurse's office, to the infirmary, and the nurse was like, you dug the antique shop trip? Yes. Rich cat Lily, forking out as much money as she wants for a gift for Hanako. But yes, I think that for Hisao, he's just realized, like, he gets a talk from Muto. Now, knowing what I know about this character, and knowing also about Hisao, the protagonist, the things that Muto says to him, like, even though they're mixed in with a lot of kind of garbly bits of lecturing and advice, as a teacher, he says a lot of things that are like genuinely good advice for someone like Hisao, I think. Since Hisao is he's still green to the ways of the world. Calling her a rich cat, I can only imagine a business cat in a suit. Well, it's just a phrase. Just a phrase. Rich cat Lily. But she does seem very Ojo-sama Lily. I think that it's interesting to me that although I'm happy to do all of the voices of the characters in Katawa Shoujo, I think that Lily is Lily is the closest to the voice I would use to read anything. the Ojo tone, Ojo-sama tone. I think that's probably why. It's probably why someone asked if I wouldn't do a playthrough of Lily's Rant. I must have thought that my voice would have suited her. Even though I love visual novels, I wish it wasn't default the point of view characters weren't so clunky with their social interactions. Well, I think it depends on what you play and what you think about the characters. Like, I don't know how old everyone in the chat is, but like these characters are like how old are they? 16, 17? It's a baby. They're babies. They're tiny children, and I think that the fact that they show this kind of maturity/immaturity in their interactions is something that if you had been this age, if you were this age, I remember when I first played Katawa Shoujo a very long time ago, you know, I could more easily identify with the feelings of all of these characters back then. You know? And that was a long time ago. So the things that Hisao is thinking and saying, wooden sponge. Oh, that's so brutal. But truthfully, you know, for the people who look in on this and think that, oh, he's being really, I don't know. There are a lot of things that you could say about the way that Hisao perceives his world and he perceives the people around him. Okay, true, I have a decade more emotional experience compared to when I first played. Exactly. And I think that it's really thoughtful and nice that they wrote their characters to be like this. because the emotional cross between trying to find maturity and then the consequent lack of I think it's very true. I think it's very true to the kind of age demographic that these characters represent as well. It's obvious that Hisao is a nice guy, right? Like, he's not a bad person. I don't think anyone feels that way about him. I don't think that upon reading this novel you would actively think that he's like a bad person. But he's gone through a lot of things. He's endured his own hurts. He has his own prejudices in the world based on how he's grown up and what he perceives in others. And all of this is very evident in the way that he narrates his experience at this school. I like that a lot. It does mean that, you know, sometimes he'll say things or do things that might be frustrating for someone who is like a little bit more emotionally mature or experienced than he is. I think that's part of it. I quite like it. He's the kind of protagonist that you could probably hate if you wanted to, but I think that still parts of what he says and does are easily identified with if you are a person who cares about others. Yeah, I'll have to agree on that. I said a lot of things though. I said a lot of things, so I'm not sure what you're agreeing with, but nods. I don't think that he's that bad a kid, but I am playing as this kid. It's nice to see him growing through the stories. He does. Like, I think that's also something that I appreciate a lot to the telling of his experiences at this school. This last year spent at this school is that you do feel like he grows and changes a lot. He learns a lot of things about people. I'm agreeing with most of it, so not naruhodo. Thanks for agreeing. Of course you don't have to. Like, these are just like my thoughts as someone who read this novel many years ago as well. And oh, Silent, thank you for the bun drink water redeem. I'll have some water. You should have some water too. Hello, Silent. Did you just come in? Because I'm tying up. Or rather, I'm hanging out for a bit. So I mentioned... Oh, it's from novel? Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean, G? Well, it's a visual novel. It's a game and that you have to like make choices and stuff, but it's more or less a visual novel, a book with pictures. Pictures and sound. Visual novel. That's right. I like it a lot. I think it would be nice to try and do more routes. It is taking me a long time to do these routes separately, if only because that's just the pace that I... No, don't worry, G. Good morning, G. Take your time. But I have been thinking about if I should invite someone to read it with me. Katawa Shoujo. Or I suppose any of the other story games that I play. I feel like he puts in way more thoughts in his interactions than I do. When Hisao interacts with other characters in the story, there are people who say to him, like especially Lily at this time, she said this like quite specifically today. She was like, I think you consider a lot of things, and sometimes that works against you. Like, that wasn't exactly what she said, but Hisao's habit of overthinking things at times it doesn't help. It doesn't help. It's enjoyable to watch. I'm glad you find it enjoyable to watch. It is. I'm trying to read it in a way that's true to the story, but at the same time, it means it takes longer to do. So I'm sure we'll be playing it for a little while longer. The game. I like it, and I think that I wish that Twitch had a category for it, but I think very fondly of this game, and I was quite excited to share it with you guys. So if we do get to run it through, can re-experience the game. It is also different, actually, I think. Cooking pot of oden. Oh, I like oden. This is my first VN, got me hooked into the medium. I see. Well, for your first VN, I think that this is a very good experience to have. Like, one thing that I always say is that Katawa Shoujo is very well written. It's very well considered. And you can tell that they put a lot of love and effort into the construction of these characters and the reality of their lives. Of course, it's going to be fantastical in some ways because, like, why wouldn't it be? It's a visual novel where you get to hit on girls like this. But there's still like a reality to everyone's like disabilities and life circumstances that I think the writing, like, it lends a lot to. Like, it really tells me that these things were done with care, and I like that a lot. So I would say that it's right up there in terms of takes note of the title. Oh gee, basically you romance girls. I'm not going to deny that that's like the entire purpose of this game is to romance these girls. It's actually not deeper than that, right? It's not deeper than that. But there's still a lot of parts of the story and the way that it's been made that I like and appreciate a lot. It's definitely one of the better ones I've read. It can be a lot more petty and cliche than this. Not that there's anything wrong with petty and cliche, because I enjoy that too. But I appreciate when something's been made with love. Anything's deep if you think about it the right way. I mean, that's true. It is why a lot of people, you know, do deep analyses on, like, deep dive analyses on, like, a lot of pop culture things. That sounds bad. It doesn't sound that bad. It's fine. But admittedly, like, a lot of the visual novels that I've read, that I care about a lot, or that I would play again, or that I'd recommend to others. I actually hold that last point. I might not recommend all of the visual novels that I really like to other people, because some of them are quite shady content. But make me think, or have that leave me with some sort of fond impression. This is one of those games, I think. Katawa Shoujo is one of those games. Like, it left such a deep impression on me that I would always, like, re-download it every few years so that I could play it. And I think it's pretty rare that I feel so strongly about a game that I would want to do that. And Katawa Shoujo is, like, not a short game, right? It's like, despite the fact that I'm reading everything aloud in this playthrough, it's not that short. But whenever I would re-download it, I would just, like, I would go through everyone's routes, like, methodically, to go and just, like, re-experience everything. My favorite one, Yume Miru Kusuri. I haven't played that before. The content's something that makes me not recommend it. Look, there's quite a few sort of games that are considered like kamige, like top tier level games that have just extremely not appropriate content, like would get you killed on Twitter content. So it's very clear they've crafted the game with care and that they've definitely had someone experienced take part in it. They've done their research. They've definitely done their research about these things. The characters in Katawa Shoujo also, I think, are very unique. Like, obviously they have like their tropes and they have their issues, and there's an entire spectrum of visual novel girl characters that fit anywhere among these the spectrum. But the characters, some of them at the very least, that are in this game, are very hard to meet anywhere else, I think. And the way that they've been written has left a very deep impression on me. It's odd. It's odd because I think that I don't want to criticize the construction of visual novel characters in Japan, because they're meant to appeal to like a very particular demographic. But for Katawa Shoujo, one of the girls in this game is so unlike any other character I've ever met in a visual novel like this. So I think about her a lot. I think about her character. I think about the things that she says. I think about the things that she cares about, and they kind of like haunt me in the back of my mind. The fact that someone like this might exist. You know who it is? Yeah. We've only met her a couple of times, but... Hi Ironheart, how's the war with the Ivy? I think it's best not to ask sometime. What's up, G? Picks up G. Definitely need to replay the game just for Dean's Route. I would like to go through Dean's Route if we have a moment. You know, if we get that far. Probably the most unique character in the game. I also like Shizune a lot, and Shizune is very unique on her own. The way that she approaches... the way that she's been approached as a character, I think, is really interesting. The way that Shizune's been written. And after going through her route... I don't know if you guys would think the same. But for Hanako... We've reached the point in her route where she's starting to have problems, and these problems are coming up in a way that Hisao feels very cornered by. So our protagonist, he's struggling now because he doesn't know how to deal with this girl that he likes being this way. At least in his view, that's how he feels. Doesn't know how to deal with it. It's kind of a fascinating thought. I understand where he's coming from. And even when he says things that are kind of unreasonable, I can't help but just kind of like nod and want to steer him on the right direction. Well, anyway, in this case, Hisao is me. We are Hisao, guys. We are trying to romance the girl. Emmy helped influence me into a regular exercise routine. Oh, that's so sweet. Emmy's very cute. It's interesting to see characters' reaction to Hanako's situation. Everyone would react differently, I think, to how Hanako's route is unfolding, how this would unfold should you ever be around someone like Hanako for yourself. Hi Ronnie. G'day. But now that I'm reading everything aloud, I kind of want to I want to do a good job at like trying to portray characters well enough. You know, if I'm gonna read this aloud, I want it to not sound like when I read aloud from the room. Actually, that's not true. I put effort into my reading aloud from the room as well. Like maybe not for the good reasons, but your voice acting for it is excellent. Oh, thank you, Newt. It's very kind. It's very kind of you to say. I don't want it to be terrible because I think that the characters deserve better than that. But otherwise, you know, just the best that I can do with reading the entire thing, perhaps. It's fascinating to just kind of, like, as I'm reading it aloud, try to envision how these characters would be, how they would be speaking. Thank you, Newt. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. I do think about it because this sort of thing is always a little bit. And I say this about my TRPGs too, but it's just like wanting to give life to the voice of this character who has their own everything. Their own thoughts, their own lives. If how they speak match the personality, no, it's not just the personality. It is really everything. It's really, really everything they say. The things you say aren't just influenced by your personality, right? But there are a number of things that I can tell about people from seeing, you know, the words they type to me. Having tried RP, it's really hard. It's hard to write characters that feel real. People are multifaceted. But say if at the very least you should be able to tell when I read for different characters who it is that's speaking. Most of the time though, I think you can also tell when I'm just reading for myself and when I'm not reading for a character. So it's a bit complicated. It's a bit complicated, really. The thought that gets put into reading and then reading for a character. Usually get better at making characters by reading. Well, it's not wrong. It's not a wrong thing to say. I think about it a lot because reading is something that that this channel is is kind of based upon, is the reading of things. In opening Katawa Shoujo, thinking about how you would read, for example, for Lily and then Hanako. Like if you want to go by their personalities, you have Lily who is pretty calm and collected. And not only is she calm and collected, but she's very purposefully calm and collected. Like this is a version of Lily that she is putting together like as etiquette to show to others. Like this is just her outside face. So her image is poised and elegant and considerate and polite and all of these things. And she doesn't want to tread on anyone's toes, maybe aside from Shizune, who she has some friction with. She seems very mature. If anything, she seems a little bit too considerate of others. She's very restrained in her interactions with others. It's seldom that you'll see her say, like, have an outburst or anything like that. Lily's not the type of person who will have that kind of outburst. Maybe she'll very sparingly tease someone she's familiar with, but more often than not, she is considerate. She doesn't want to offend anyone. So when you read for Lily, well, I'm not going to say it's necessarily Ojo voice, because all of the voices that appear in Katawa Shoujo have to be mine, of course. But reading for Lily, it means calm, collected, restrained, someone who knows their boundaries, someone who speaks carefully, who enunciates their words well, who is polite, who is less eager to upset someone else with her words and actions. She takes great care with everything she does. And we have Hanako, who's just a little bit timid cat. But Hanako's not a pushover herself, necessarily. But these things are hard to express in just nervous tones. I think that she will speak a little bit more later in the route, perhaps. I know that so far in the route we haven't got a lot of Hanako speaking, but yeah, she seems like a strong character. Are you talking about Hanako? In reading for Hanako, a lot of her stuttering is written into the script, which I feel I probably shouldn't actually read word for word, because it makes it a little bit it can make it a little bit stilted on my part. But Hanako's always talked about as being very fragile from Hisao's point of view. I think that he does acknowledge, though, that she is not just fragile. But obviously she has a lot of things going on, so he doesn't really know how to deal with that. And in that, it makes her fragile to him. I guess Hanako's pretty self-explanatory. She reads very shyly, just because she's very shy. So she speaks quietly, and doesn't really know how to fully express herself when she's trying to speak to others. But sometimes she's still able. How come another stutters? It depends on what she's saying. And Misha's just Misha. All of the Hichans of the last route. Misha's just Misha. Misha's lovely. In fact, I can't do any justice to Misha's voice. My voice doesn't... I'm not going to speak that loud, because it's not what I can do for these readings. But Misha is meant to be loud. So I can only do like a very watered down Misha. I don't feel comfortable doing that on stream. I don't think it's necessary. Well, I could, but I would probably have to sit on the other side of my room to do it. If I wanted to be loud and be Misha. I think it would be fine. It's too much trouble. It's too much trouble, and not necessarily a good thing to do. I think as long as you guys know that she's meant to be loud, that's enough. It's not problematic. Imagine running across the room and back for every line when she's on screen. I couldn't. It would sound terrible, and you'd probably hear me running out of breath very quickly. Squints across the room trying to memorize my Misha line, and then yelling it, and then coming back. But Misha's just implied to be very loud, so she speaks relatively clearly. Actually, no, I don't think I read very clearly for Misha. I'll read pretty clearly for Shizune, though, because Shizune's speaking style is quite like crisp. It's like clear cut. I feel that if we had to compare everyone in Katawa Shoujo's speaking voices, Hisawa's just kind of your grumpy, slightly mumbly protag, because I don't know, my voice isn't actually that manly. But Hisawa just as normal, the root normal, low enough to be identified as male compared to everyone else, is just what I do. What I do for him. And then we have Shizune, who obviously doesn't speak until you get into her root, and even then it's like the spoken tone of her mind. So when you're interpreting what Shizune said, reading for Shizune, I think that Shizune speaks quite like the way that I normally speak, if I can be honest. I think that if I'm making a point and speaking clearly to someone, Shizune probably speaks a bit like that, except a little bit more energetic and forthcoming. Forthcoming in the way that she speaks. But that's because of like her personality. Shizune's style. Black Ace, hello, welcome. Just talking about the way that everyone in Katawa Shoujo speaks and what I think about when I am speaking for them during the visual novel. So Shizune, who, you know, like her style is very cut. And I think this is also to do with the fact that she speaks in sign language. But like even as Hisawa describes the way she signs, it's very like she's swish, 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 swish with her hands. It's very meaningful. It's very intense. And it also carries a lot of intent. She speaks things with a lot of intention. I think as is the nature of sign language. And we have Misha, who's just meant to be loud, and she's kind of scattered and a little bit stupid. Just a little bit. But it's great because I love stupid people. I'm also one of them, so I can't really say anything. Shizune seems very straightforward but also playful. She is playful. The thing is about Shizune's playfulness though is that she's very competitive. So when she'll be straightforward and like direct and to the point when she's like challenging someone. And like that's her playfulness. Obviously she knows how to be playful. She knows how to like be sarcastic and have fun. But like for the most part, like reading for Shizune, like it's like clear, someone who speaks clearly. And yeah, Misha's many hichans over the course of the Misha speaking. I love Misha. Misha's really lovely. And she doesn't have any bad intent, which I feel like I want to put across, that even if Misha says things that come across as being kind of shady, it's that she has absolutely zero ulterior motives. I don't think I've ever seen Misha say anything ever that has an ulterior motive. And she's just very she's a biblically accurate angel. Well, you can form many sounds with one voice. There's only so many distinct ways to take your hands and move them about in sign language. I don't think that's true. I think in the same way that you can play the same piano piece in a lot of different ways, you can sign things in a lot of different ways. Every movement, I think, you know, it might be recognized as the same between people, but even those differences will have tone. And she has a face. Like, Shizune has a face. If she's saying something and she looks angry, if she's saying something and she's looking at you with a frown, obviously the tone of what she's saying is going to carry that, right? There are accents in sign language. Having a voice is only one way that you can express yourself. As was touched on in the root, there's slang, and they could make up their words like Misha and Shizune. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Misha and Shizune have a few secret codes between themselves, which I think is very cute. I like that a lot. But Misha's communication skills, even though they seem kind of lacking out in the open, like it's commented on a lot by Hisawa that Misha can't read the room, and that she like says things that put people in awkward situations, like earlier with like Hanako, and Hisawa feeling like he was like pressured into answering that question. she really doesn't mean anything by it, which I think is a wonderful trait. I think the fact that Misha is actually so harmless is a wonderful trait. And she means well. She's very lovely. And I feel like one way or another I actually want Misha to sound quite lovely. Like she's meant to sound quite loud and quite obnoxious, and like she's meant to sound noisy. She's Shizunne's noisy counterpart, but she's so warm-hearted and so cheerful and optimistic. I mean, through the most of her interactions. Of course, Misha, you can get Misha down, which comes out later. That even when Shizune is talking, even when Misha is opening her mouth and saying all of Shizune's words for her, that the way it comes across is very, very incongruent to what Shizune's tone is meant to be like. So if Shizune is telling someone off, Misha will say the same thing, but she'll be like, she'll smile and she'll like say it in a way that's very open. And she ends up saying some things that she's not really aware of, like when it comes to the content. I really like that about her. I really like that in Misha's character, and I find that characters like that are kind of hard to portray. I think if anything, because they don't match my my normal tone of speaking very well, because that's not it's not how I communicate. I feel like when I communicate, it's always daggers. It's always daggers coming out. So, unfortunately, when it comes to portraying Misha, it has to be brighter than everyone else. Brighter than everyone else, but, the best that I can do. Sad life. But, your Hit-chan is the best, though. I thank you, Blackhaze. It's very kind of you. On to Shizune and Misha. Then we have Lily and Hanako, who I talked about. So, reminds you of Obama's anger translator, but rather than anger, it's tearful. Exactly. If Shizune is Obama, then Misha's the cheerful translator. It's exactly the kind of role she has in speaking for Shizune. And in Shizune's route, Hisawa was always like, there's like such a discord between the way that Misha speaks aloud Shizune's words, but then like seeing Shizune's face and knowing her likely intent. I think it's what she needs, though. I think it's what Shizune needs, is having Misha there. They make a good foil for each other. I like that a lot. And then likewise, we have Lily and Hanako, who are also kind of foils for each other, in that we have Lily, the blind, very well prim, poised Ojo, who is kind of restrained, but she can't offend anyone. She's always very considerate, very kind. It's kind of hard to see exactly what's going on behind the scenes for her. Live action Katawa Shoujo. When it comes to playing Lily, she's quite easy to play. Lily's much kinder than I am, of course. But, I don't disagree, but I'm starting to think Misha may be your favorite character. I really like everyone. I don't think I can state this enough, but I really like everyone in Katawa Shoujo. Even though, in different routes, different characters may seem more obnoxious or, like, just be perceived differently according to who you're pursuing. I think this is very much the same in pursuing any sort of relationship in any sort of social situation, and that your view of someone else will be dyed by your interactions with other people. And so, like, in getting to know every single person every romanceable person in this game differently, you get to see them from all sorts of different angles. And I feel very charmed by all of them, even the side characters, even the NPCs. Like, obviously, it's the main characters who make the meat and bones of this game. Like, they give you the real heart of the game, but it wouldn't be possible without the NPCs and the side characters. Very much, your view of Shizune is very different on the Lily route due to their relationship. Exactly. Like, those two are already described at the beginning to be like rivals of sorts. And, you meet Shizune, you meet Lily, you see just how much their views of life conflict. To the foundations. Like, those two, like, they actually do care about each other, but they just have a lot going on between themselves as well. Even Kenji derogatory? Yes, even Kenji Potter. I like Kenji too, even though he's such a nutcase. He's fantastic. And of course Lily too, even though she comes across as being like very prim and very very poised and very considerate and just like generally perfect on the outside. Like she's very pretty, she's very liked like by her peers, respected by her teachers. She does a lot for the school. She's willing to endure a little bit more on behalf of her classmates, all of these things. She too is also a teenage girl who has her own immaturities and insecurities and things that she holds on to. I do like Lily's mind games and small jabs. Lily's a bit manipulative. I think it's very suitable for her to be that way, in the way that she acts. Like above all, she has great intentions, honestly, for the people that she meets. She's very good to them. But can it be denied that she is pretty manipulative? No, can't be. Still love her though. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just part of her character. And it's kind of, it's interesting. It makes sense when she's been taught to be so prim and proper. Like, the times where we see Lily unravel are so few. Truly. Like even in Lily's route, as we get to know her a bit more, it takes a long time to fully get her to let her guard down, because it is almost never down, you know? She's so prim and so proper all of the time that like even her teasers towards other people tend to be like hidden in a way that makes it more palatable, if that makes sense. And like in this case, Lily, she's just received some really bad news about her family, and you know, she has to worry about looking after her family, going back to her home in Scotland, to her family, trying to you know, look after them in a time where things must be really hard. And she's thinking about her friend. She's thinking about her friend and Hanako's difficulties, like knowing a lot of what is going on for her. And I think it's really only when when the wine is out. The thing is that it is who she is, right? Like, I'm not saying that Lily's prim and proper front is not who she is. It's just not all who she is, right? So it's just part of her. And so whenever it comes to reading for Lily, well, she's very easy, but she reads with a lot of restraint. But she reads prettily. When I read for Lily, I'm like, Lily's pretty. So I have to read in a way for her that sounds pretty. But then, like, aside from that, which is very superficial, I think that she has a care for others that is very genuine. So I like to think that when she shows concern for others, it's not just like a she is considerate towards people in a way that I feel is sometimes amiss in Ojo-sama characters. I like that part of her. Oh, Ash, thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you. Then we have Hanako. Lily, the Ojo who's kind of loved and respected by everyone, and then we have Hanako, who kind of doesn't really have any friends aside from Lily. But mostly when I read for her, it's timid. Just the shy and timid outside. Because it's only here and there where I think Hanako can express herself with a bit more courage. And up until this point, obviously we're not too into the bones of Hanako's route yet. Like, we've just got into the part where Lily's about to leave. And so we're coming up upon Hanako's birthday. And there's not been a lot of moments where she's really like spoken with a lot of courage, but there have been those moments. So there have been times where Hanako's been like comfortable enough to show herself. but there's not a lot of that. So, speaking for Hanako is also like quite restrained. She holds herself back a lot, but also because she doesn't want to be perceived by the world. Like Hanako is in a situation where she just like doesn't want to be seen ever. So, her speaking very much reflects that desire to shut herself away and not be seen, not be heard. Quiet speaking. Also very nice though, Hanako. I guess we also have the other two that haven't been seen so much. We have Rin, we have Emi, so the other romanceable girls. Sengoku Nadeko. I haven't seen any series in the Monogatari series aside from the first, aside from Bakemonogatari. But Nadeko's very cute. I think that she's more than cute, from what some of my friends have said. But, you know, kind of shy, kind of timid, well-intentioned. They feel things strongly. Emi is kind of on a level that's hard for me to portray like Misha. The two are very different in that Emi is, like, even though we don't see Misha speaking with much in the way of ulterior motives, we do see Emi lying. Like, she is the kind of person who will lie. And she's also very lovely. Emi's lovely. But she, or like Hisao said, like her charm is in the kicked puppy, the kicked puppy look that she has. She's little and she's active. But you know, like everyone else, she's here at the school for a reason, and had some things happen in the past that she's not eager to come out with or have pride into very easily. I guess maybe I won't talk too much about Emi since we haven't met her much within the roots. We've just gone running with her and had lunch with her. I don't know if I personally would be able to get along with a person like that as Hisao would. What are you commenting on? And then we have Rin, who I was talking a little bit about earlier. Rin, who is very strange. I feel like there's not a better word to explain Rin's strangeness aside from to experience her root and see it for yourself. Because if you think that she seems strange now, like upon like experiencing just the few snippets of conversation we've had with her, like and talking with Emi and having lunch on the roof, or meeting her in the art room, and then or meeting her on the road with Lily after we went shopping with Lily. Those times we get a snippet of just how strange Nin is to the rest of the world. But Hisao says something about those interactions which I feel like is very pertinent to the way Nin's route pans out, is that he feels like he can't leave her alone. And it's very true in the way that Nin kind of exists, that, you know, kind of you feel a desire to watch out for her so that she doesn't hurt herself doing things, because she just seems so distant from a lot of the things that happen around her. The things that she says and asks and then puts into her artwork as well. Rin for me is a very memorable character, and I really like her a lot. So I think that at some point we will hopefully get in to play her route. Depends on what you like. Like, that's the bottom line of every visual like novel slash gyaruge, that you go into it with your own preferences and you chase the heroine that you like and care about the most. Right? Does it mean that she is next? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if we'll be done with Hanako's route for quite a while. I never got around to her route, but she seems very independent. In some ways she is. But if anything, when Hisao says that he feels like he can't leave her alone, I think that sentiment kind of permeates Rin's route. That might not make a lot of sense right now, but it's just how I feel about it. But we're just sort of slowly getting into Hanako's route. I've been playing for a few hours now. It might take us still a few hours more. But Hanako's lovely. We have rich cat and shy cat. Timid cat. Sort of makes sense with that night walk. Well, we met her and she was just kind of babbling on and asking these questions, and it's just kind of the person that she is, right? She'll end up in a place that she doesn't know. Maybe she'll be lost. You don't know if she's eaten or if she's rested or if she's slept. It doesn't seem like it matters to her, even though it should. I think they're kind of things that I would think about with someone like her. Emmy and Rin are the characters I have the most difficulty rooting for, I would say. Because I think their characters fit me the least. I think that their characters are a bit adrift from what people would expect to hear from someone like me. So Rin is very much in her own world. The way that she talks reflects the way that she perceives the world, which is still kind of vague and hard to make out for the people around her. It's hard to get close to. And she can't express herself very well. Rin doesn't really know how to express herself at all, actually. Not in words. A lot of the things that she says just kind of come straight out. Like a bullet. It's not a bad thing. I think that in Hisao's eyes, it would make her very hard to deal with. So that comes up. That comes up in our meetings with Rin. Would you say her art is very expressive of herself? Like, Rin is an artist, and it's kind of like she lives and breathes doing this. I think it's part of her world, with her using very odd colors and shapes. Rin's art is interesting. Like, the fact that they went to the trouble of making art that Rin would make, like in the mural and stuff, are really fascinating to me. I feel like they went the extra mile to try and express the kind of character that this was, which is fascinating to me. And I like Rin's art. I think it's really odd. I think it's really odd, but I think it's really her, which tells me that they did a good job. They did a good job doing it. Well, Rin's art appears in her route as well, but even on the mural, just on the wall, we can see it. The amalgamation of faces and arms and legs and various other limbs. The way she feels about her artwork as well is Actually, let's get into it later. Maybe we'll just do Rin's route next, and we can talk about how Rin's perception of her art and herself come into her interactions with others. Oh, wooden sponge. No worries. Thank you for popping by. Just come in and vibe and hit on girls and then vibe some more. I feel like they went the extra mile in a lot of places, which I appreciate. They did. I think so too. Dean Street, let's go. We haven't finished romancing Hanako yet, so we have to do that first. But for now, I will zoom away. I haven't had a lot of streaming times recently, but when I have a spare moment, I like to try and record for this book that I wanted to recommend to you guys. And originally I was planning to read it on stream, just as I plan to read everything on stream. But I thought that I would read the whole thing. And yeah, I think I'll read it all and then upload it all. This particular book. And if you do feel like listening to it, I'd be happy. It's a book that I like a lot, and if it would compel you to read it, which it doesn't have to, it's not that long, I'd also be happy. I just have such a blast talking with you about visual novels and such. Oh, Black Ace! It's lovely to talk to you too. Thank you for having a chat. You have great input. I don't know if I have any input on anything, but just that I enjoy all sorts of things, whether they're good or bad. But no, we'll get into it next time. Romancing Hanako a little bit more. Things have kind of turned on a slightly rocky road for us and Hanako. But Lily is about to go away, and we have to do our best to let her know that we're still there for her. We're still, before we go about romancing her, we have to show her that we're her friend. And that comes first. So, wish you all a wonderful night. See you again next time. Bye bye. Good night.